See the comments unless I pull them over. I could put them on the screen, but
Okay.
I haven't really.
Are you tagging me on my
Yeah,
Facebook?
yeah, I can tag you.
Okay,
Yeah, of course.
good.
Long time no see. You're in Portugal now. Portugal, right?
Yes, I've been here 2 years now.
God,
This is
time
the second year.
flies. Time flies,
Yes, we
doesn't it?
we we spoke a year and a half ago.
What?
And
Has
a
it been
year and
that?
a half ago.
It's been that long. Wow.
Yes, but we had a scheduled meeting in August.
And what happened? I
And then
couldn't.
you were feeling terrible, and
Oh.
I had no Wi-Fi connection.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay,
Remember?
yeah,
Yeah,
you're tagged
great.
on it now. Let's see. We're gonna
Thank you.
give it a. Yeah. So I don't know. Had my neighbors partying, and I'm no teetotaler or wallflower. Even though I have really got I mean I've pretty much straightened out, which is saying a lot. But so I understand. But man, they partied. I mean, loud. Like I could have called the police,
Is
but
the is it connected to you, the house?
yeah,
It's
it's
this or
two, and
it's a
it's a really
double. Oh my God.
yeah, and so
Yeah, yeah.
and the walls are really thin, and so I don't want any trouble. So but to your point about whatever yesterday, I mean, I just it's just been my physically I've been going through a lot physically. I've gone through more, but physically that's how I've been doing it. A lot of people have been having other things happen. I've been pretty smooth emotionally, mentally for weeks. Just I've been fine. But so anyway, I ended up finally getting. I tried to go to bed. I don't even know what time it was. It must have been 6 or 7 in the morning. I slept 1 hour, but in that hour and 10 minutes, I had this lucid dream. It was crazy and wild, and I know every little detail of it. And I'm still not awake enough to figure out exactly what happened, but it had to do with masculine and feminine, and it had to do with God, what would you say? Like people not well. What happened here? People not respecting you,
Mm-hmm.
and saying something if you have to, and so. But anyway, so then I then I just got up. I got out of bed. I was like, damn it, and I just okay. Well, I'll just juice and I'll make some coffee and I'll just stay up and because I couldn't sleep and so I was doing I was sharing some posts some memes to Soulogy and then I saw one and it said it was like 2 minutes old and it was I don't even know who put it up. They said that some planet and Uranus were aligned and whatever you do today, don't lose your emotions and and I called the landlord up and I said, "How many people are living next door?" Because there's 5 or 6 cars there every night, and they're partying until like 5, 6 in the morning. And this isn't the first night. I recorded it and everything, which I didn't even tell them. And they said, "Oh, we can't divulge that information. It's against the law, and we can't. You just need to call the police." And I said, "Really?" I said, So anyway, I ended up getting upset with them, which I haven't gotten upset in weeks. I mean, it's probably been I don't even know how long, but anyway, so I saw that post. But we're not here to talk about me. You're in Portugal. You've been there 2 years. You're okay. I just want to recap for anyone who hasn't been. We got let me see how many we got. Yeah, we got 41 people here, so they're coming. But so just for those, because this is what I remember. I mean, you're from Portugal. You get the call 20 plus years ago. You have a normal life. You walk away. You go to Israel and do work as you're guided by your higher self long before this stuff was even talked about. And did some amazing work there for 20 years. And we did a couple, 3, 4 shows. And then you end up back in Portugal and you were called back there, and you've been there 2 years, and every time I check on you, you're doing great, and every now and then when I check on you, somebody else that I know from the work at Soulogy, you're hanging out with, so
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. What's happening? Utah?
What's happening? The first year and a half was great. I got to meet a lot of people and all different kinds of people around here. This is an amazing area in Portugal where people from all over the world, young people, are coming to start their new Earth dream.
Really?
Okay, it's a place where you can still buy land very cheaply or cheaper than in other places. And young people are coming here, couples and groups, and they buy land and they live in caravans, yurts, domes. They just build their own houses too, and it's an amazing space. It's they all creating the new. Just that I got to meet
Or
them.
or
They
is
they must.
is it the new creating the old? The
It's
young
something
people are the
like
new,
that.
right? Hey,
Listen, what's interesting is that they're all using stuff that we used years ago. It's a lot of plant medicine, a lot of mushrooms,
you
a
did
lot of tantra, all that stuff.
really?
That's what they do, and they have old type of energy work and methods that I've known for 20 years. So it's like they're starting something new, but it's not really new yet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of communities forming, and it's a very interesting place. But I'm
Wow.
not living there exactly. It's about half an hour from here.
Well, it's probably good because you'll stay out of trouble that way.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Hanging
but I'm
out.
in touch. I'm in touch with a lot of those kids.
That's very
They
cool.
kids. They my children's age. So, and I got to meet people in this area where I live, which is very touristy, and there's a lot of foreign people living here.
Really?
So it's interesting. I met all kinds of people and different ways of life that they have. And I've been through this testing. Uh, how can I live without money?
You've been doing that
Okay.
for 25 years.
No, not really. I lived in a kibbutz, a community where I had a very cozy life.
Okay.
I didn't need anything. And then I got out when I was 52 and I had to fence for myself, and I didn't know how to do that. Sorry, I have to close
Hey, I
this.
saw
Uh,
Pamela
so
Johnson. Pamela Johnson's in the audience. I hadn't seen her in a while. Hello, Pamela. She said hello to you.
she's on again. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
She's.
yes.
I saw her on the
Pamela
YouTube.
was,
I saw her on the YouTube channel. She made a comment a minute ago. So,
yes.
so you okay, you were comfortable in Israel. I know that you had a journey going over there and finding your way and figuring out what was going on. We talked about that in previous shows. But so when you went to Portugal originally, though, 2 years ago, um, were you? Did you know you were going to stay?
No,
That's
no,
right.
no, no. I came to visit friends, and the lockdown started, the first one, the big one.
Mm.
So I was here, unable to go back for 2 months, and I start meeting all these people. And what happened? It was that they were all so thirsty for knowledge, for wisdom, for whatever I did. They just came and lapped it up, and I was not used to it in Israel. So suddenly I had something to do, something to share, people who were interested. I so enjoyed it that I decided not to go back to Israel.
Mm.
So I stayed on. I left everything that I had there, which was not much anyway, but it was still, an apartment full of my stuff
Oh, you
that
didn't
I
even
let
did
go.
did you even go
I never,
back?
no,
You just called
no,
them up and
my
said,
kids,
"Oh, wow."
I'm staying. My kids had to empty the whole thing. They were not very happy about me staying. They're still not very happy about their mother's moves. because I do things that are unexpected. Out of the blue, suddenly I say, I'm not going back. So I stayed here and I rented a place where they also had a little car for rent that I could actually rent, because if I would go to a rental place, I couldn't rent a car because they check your credit card, and I didn't have enough there to rent a car. So it was all like done for me, waiting for me.
Wow.
And I stayed in that place and I could afford to rent the place and the car because I was working with the Rose Dome, which I got here as well. You know, that's
We talked about
beautiful
that on the.
people
Yeah, I think you had just
in
come into
Spain.
that when the last time we did a show. What's about a year and a half ago, right? So you had
Yeah,
just
yeah,
come
yeah.
into it. You had just come into it. You were
Yes,
just getting your
yes,
feet, kind of dipped in the water there. I remember that.
yes. So I had this new thing coming through the Rose Dome, and I started working with it all over the world, and people responded, and I got some money
Wow.
to keep going. But then it stopped. Okay. So when it stopped, I suddenly had no money to pay the rent
Yeah.
or the car. And that's when the miracles start happening. Okay. So I panicked for a few hours.
Yeah.
I was told, go to the beach. I went to the beach. I was lying there and I said, okay, my heart is open. Whatever has to happen will happen. I get out of the beach and this guy starts talking to me. Usually I would not respond, but I said I had the heart open, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I
so I
know it, and
did.
I know you. I know you get hit on all the time, so you
No,
probably
I
get tired
don't.
of it.
No, I don't. No, I don't. So this guy is a Portuguese guy who lives in this town. And we sat and talked for a couple of hours. And he said, don't worry, I know everybody here. I'll get you a place. During the weekend, I was already somewhere else. And that was a beautiful stay in nature where I didn't have Wi Fi almost, but I was 3 months deep into nature. It was amazing. It was like a secret valley.
Wow.
And that's when I tried to talk to you and I couldn't. And good that I didn't, because I was going to tell you how beautiful my life was. And the next day, it all crumbled. I had to get out of there. And because I was paying very little rent, they started treating me like a servant, and I didn't like that at all.
No.
I just didn't like it. And I couldn't leave because I had nowhere to go and I didn't have money to rent anything else. So again, I said, okay, let's see what happens. And what happened was that a friend of mine left to Mexico and she was renting a house in this town. And she said, come and talk to the owner. He's here now. He's a Danish guy, and this is his holiday place. So I came to talk to him. And it turned up that he had to do some renewal in the house, some remodeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, okay, I'll do it for you and I'll stay here for free. So here I am in a free house. I pay nothing, no electricity, no nothing, no rent. I did the remodeling for him. I got, Portuguese workers and everything that he couldn't do himself. He's so pleased, and
Really?
so am I.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, these are the
So this is
stories. Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
these are the stories. Then, okay, I couldn't do without a car here, right?
Right.
Because there's no transportation, and I was renting that little car that came to me as a miracle as well. And I asked the owners, are you interested in selling? Because it was an extra car they had. And I don't know why I asked, because I couldn't buy it. I didn't have the money to buy it. And they came up to me with an offer that was quite cheap. And again, I went to the beach and I asked for inspiration. What do I do? I need the car. I have no money to buy it, but they're selling it and I want it.
Right.
So I heard this whisper, ask your ex husband. And I did. And he said, no problem. I'll pay for it.
See, this is what I'm.
So I
Wow.
so I have a car and I have a free house and I can live with my little pension that was not enough to pay for a rental, not enough to pay for a car. But these are the miracles that the universe is showing me. Trust,
That's right.
everything is there. And it's been happening time after time, when I had to get out of here to while they were working on the house, the money appeared. I had a couple of jobs and it paid for the renting of another place. And it's going on and on like this, and it's amazing. But the work stopped coming. And I came here and I went into this kind of cocoon,
Mm-hmm.
very quiet. I didn't have much to say.
Right.
A lot of work of being in my body, human self.
Right.
That's one of a big conversation I had with Maya. Maya came to visit me,
Yeah.
and we had a long 2 days or 3 days of talking about we must be more human. And it was like a lot of activation went on when
I
two
was gonna say,
people
I
like
bet y'all
this.
both got activated big time.
Oh, we did. It was amazing. And the moment she left, I start posting about my life here as a person,
Mm.
not as a healer or anything,
And
not as a grid worker.
yeah, you're still doing
And I,
that. I've seen that from time to time. You still do that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, about once a month. But at the beginning, I was doing that a lot and getting a lot of response from older women. It
Mm.
was really interesting. I triggered something in older women. They were inspired because I was starting something new from scratch by myself with no money in another country. And a lot are doing the same or about to do the same.
I agree.
So it was very interesting. And I got very excited. And I said, okay, I'm going to start a group of the older women. And then I backed up. I said, I can't spend all this time on the internet, and I needed this time quiet.
Yeah.
So I backed up, and here and there I post, but it's all about my life here, about little things that I go through. And I've been going through so much. And what keeps me going is the posts that I read in Soulogy.
Mm.
Morgan Lee's posting so much about the stuff that I'm going through. Word by word, it's just amazing. The whole thing of that mother program,
Yeah.
that we program to give and take care and put out our energy without boundaries.
Yeah.
And I felt it here, I felt it. I was triggered in the end because I realized what I was doing. I was giving most of my work for free. And in the end, uh, I feel exhausted. It's like I'm giving my energy away, and there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of anger start coming up, a lot of resentment. And I realized that this is a program, just like Morgan posted. I was doing that too, and finding ways to neutralize it. And meanwhile, I was triggered by people as well, and I reacted sometimes in a bad way. But it's all part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's it. I
It's
don't know
not
what.
it.
I don't know what,
It
okay, so like first of all, these are the stories that the world needs to know about, and it's so amazing how the sequence and the synchronicity of these shows fall in line to perfection, right? Like there's so many different concentric circles occurring in this moment, like, about me, about you, about the collective energy. So, like, I mean, first of all, these are the stories. I mean, I'm sitting here in amazement listening to you, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about, and no, I'm not trying to say that anything about anyone, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind, and the whole world is watching the president of the United States who can't even put two words together. This is the fluid, conscious, aware, true story, the real human, that is happening all over the world, in particular by women. Okay. And I think that what you describe is so honest because everything that you included was the human. I got angry. I got, this emotion, that emotion. I know it wasn't always the best, but it had to happen. It had to come up. It wasn't about anybody. And this is the best part of what you said, in my opinion. It wasn't about anybody. It was about a program. And it's the biggest program, in my opinion, because the mother was removed, as we know, if you just go back a few thousand years, was removed from all religions, all house. I mean, it was just suppressed, and that it wasn't just the divine feminine; it was the mother energy, and
mhm.
and so now she's coming back. And I remember in 2017, I mean, I remember having conversations with Morgan in 2015, weeks into our connection, weeks into our relationship. And I remember her telling me, maybe you should talk to people. It's not all about you. Maybe you should get people on and talk to them and call it Soul Speaks. And so gradually it went on. But I remember her telling me, they're going to come. They will come. One day they will come. And as time's gone on, there's been an evolution. And we were just talking about this in the last couple of days because a couple of really big names had come into the field and said, hey, let's do a show. Big names, right? And we both just kind of said, you know what? I think this is proven out now. They're stepping up now. The feminine voice, the voice of the Mother Goddess, is stepping up now. And it's not about Soulogy. It's about what Soulogy is reflecting of what's happening in the collective. And I said, I don't think we need to go really. There's plenty of platforms out there for these big names to go do what they've been doing. It's these people that need to be seen. And somehow or some way, just like when you go on the beach and you get this miracle transmission and guidance, that same type of energy will get these voices out there, even though this platform's, let's just, doing 150 to 200,000 views a month. I mean, that's nothing in terms of the linear, in terms of the 3D compared to a lot of these platforms. But energetically, because of the things that women like you, in particular women, there's some men, but it's primarily women, and you use the term, the group of older women. We can call them crones, whatever you want to call them. But what I'm trying to say is their stories anchored, re-anchored the energy of the Mother Goddess, and now they're coming out. And those voices will penetrate and permeate through the New Earth grid and strengthen it. And it's already happening, and it can't be stopped. So,
That's exactly what I want to tell you now that I was quiet for a while. I didn't have the words to express what I was going through. And told myself, okay, the sign that I'm ready to come out again is when I'm invited again to talk to Todd. Okay? Now the last month has been of going out. I've got to go out. And it's building up. and I know there's something really big coming up. And I want to tell you who's here with us. You're probably feeling him too. It's Franco. Franco is here now, and he came to me very soon after he passed away, and he told me, "I'm here to help those that are really creating something new." And before I came now, I told Frank, "You've got to be here with us," and he said, "No problem. I feel him."
Yeah.
Can you feel him?
Yeah, I feel them all the
He's
time. I feel them all the time, and
oh,
the amazing thing is,
he's
I talk to Kimberly about every 10 days, and the last time I talked to her, Franco and I would talk.
yeah. I'm also in tears whenever he comes through. It's so emotional,
Yeah,
so beautiful.
so I talked to her a few days ago, and Franco and I did and there's a reason I'm bringing this up. It's not just about Franco; it's about what you're talking about. Um, so I talked to her about 10 days ago, and in September, on September the 12th, 2021, which was about 10 days before our last show, we had a private Zoom meeting, which we had done numerous times. And we got about 5 minutes into it. And literally at the same time, we said, why don't we record this? And maybe we'll put it out, maybe we will, but something said record it. So we recorded it. And I'd forgot all about it. And then Kimberly told me she was going through all of his files. And I said, hey, there's a Zoom meeting between him and I. She said, I looked for it. I can't find it. I said, well, let me tell you how to find it. So I told her, and she found it, and she sent it to me. So I actually posted this, and it's going to go on Friday, the last
I saw
Franco.
it.
Okay, so
I saw it. It's this Friday, this
this
coming
Friday,
Friday.
yeah, this Friday, and so it's probably about 11 o'clock your time, something like that, at night. And so anyway, I don't, I do some editing with the shows, but I don't really, I never watch a whole show. Um, I can't really watch myself because you know how it is. Like when you hear your voice, it's just really weird. So, but I had to watch this Zoom meeting because I didn't know what was on it, right? And it was really strange because first of all, it's an hour and a half, and we both talk because usually when we would do a show, I would talk like maybe 20% of the time, which it was all about whoever the guest is, and in this case, Franco. We did 52 shows in 2 years, and so it's different because we're both talking like equally. It's just a conversation because it wasn't meant to be put out there, but it was so interesting because when I was watching it, you know, he actually says in this video, he says it's all about being human. And he repeats it. It's all about being human, and he says even for me, the ET. That's what he says. But the message if you look at the picture, I took the picture from the video. You can
I
see,
saw.
you
He's
know,
ready.
yeah,
Yes, he's
yeah,
radiant.
and to think that what would it be? It would be 2 weeks later we would both get COVID on the same day, and that was you know how it happened. Yeah, he's come to me many times, and I know he's come to some other people, and yeah, so
I think he did something that we're all going to do, but he did it very quickly, embodying into his human self all that he was, all that he brought in, all that galactic self.
yeah,
It must have been a shock, terrible shock, because it was very quick. We are doing this very slowly,
yeah.
but there it was very quick. And the body can't take all that, I think. But anyway, he's very present. And I know that I'm going to come out with something new, something different. and I'm getting more psychic
Yeah.
and doing things that I haven't done before. It's opening up. I know I see a few visions that what I'm supposed to do. I'm not yet sure if it's the old coming back or if it is really something that I need to do. But it's very exciting. I know it's very soon, and I'm able to speak up again,
Yes.
and
That's what it's all about.
that's exactly the sign that I was told. You know, you will come back to Soulogy when you're ready to come out of that cocoon, and
See, I
I
think
think it's
I think what happened last night is Franco was over there partying with those kids until 6 in the morning, so I wouldn't sleep, and then my emotions would be fragile this morning.
oh, your emotions are always fragile. Don't tell me it's because
uh,
lack of sleep.
this is what, yeah. So like, but this is interesting too, and I hadn't really thought about it because when I first met Franco in 2019, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know how established he was, and so we had, we just hit it off from the beginning. But he was very, I wouldn't say he wasn't in his human, but he wasn't in his human, and he would tell you that later. But it was really interesting because we did it. We did about 3 months of shows, so we might have did like 6, 8, 10 shows. I don't remember. And then we decided to do a Zoom, me, Morgan, and him, and it was very amazing. It was very amazing. At that point, to me, he was 100% galactic. I hadn't seen his human. And there was a point in this Zoom meeting that he went totally quiet. Now we're sitting on a couch in Hawaii, and he's in Canada, and he just stopped. And I'm telling you, for 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, not a word was said. You could literally see the energy coming from him. And when it stopped, he looked at us and he said, "That was for you. You know, I just delivered it." And there was never a word said. But after that, after another couple more months, we decided to do a Zoom call with him and Kimberly. And that's the first time I saw him in his human. And it was, in my opinion, because his feminine was present. And so then it just went from there. And I remember in Soulogy Fest. Now, a lot of people don't know that he had serious health issues. He had left his body
Mm.
5 times in 3 years. He was told a year and a half before the Soulogy Fest that he walked in the doctor's office. The doctor said, "You should be dead. You should not be walking." And so, but when he came to Soulogy Fest, he looked like the picture that I put on the post. He was radiant. He was energetic. He didn't even have the stuff that he had to keep his body going with him because he couldn't bring it with him. So, but we talked about it. We had some private talks, and he told me that at 4 years old, when his team came in, and he had already had memory and everything, but they came in and said, "Look, we're going to take some of your memory away, and we're still going to be here, but we need to understand one thing: with everything that we're collaborating on, the most important thing is to be a human being." So, you know,
How can you be a human being with so much happening that is out of the body?
I know,
It's very difficult.
I know,
Very difficult. One thing that is happening to me now, Todd, is that a lot of aspects are coming to talk to me.
yeah,
They show up, and these are aspects that were once on Earth.
right,
Okay, that they still are, the
right, right.
parallel lives. But they come to me and they talk about what is stopping me from going out completely, because the blocks are with them. So they come and tell me about it. I had one coming to me. I still am a guru, a male one. Okay, so he tells me about the life of a guru, how you have so many followers, but you're really very lonely
Right.
because you have no one to talk to about those high things that he goes through. So he was explaining to me that's why I don't want followers in this lifetime. you know, because I know I have that memory of what it is like to be a guru.
Yeah.
It is lonely. You may be full of love, you may be full of wisdom, but you have no one to talk to, at that
Right.
level.
Right.
So, so he was telling me that, and I had other aspects just telling me about these things. I had one amazing one that he was also a he, but he was a galactic, and he came in a human body in those times when they were called gods.
Right.
Okay, he came to bring the humanity into another vibration, but the way they did it was wrong. He was telling me about uh, uh, doing that through the women, the human women, okay? Getting together with them
Yep.
and getting them pregnant. And he told me the problems were the DNA didn't match.
Right.
And that caused a lot of deaths or children coming up totally fucked up, like with different kinds of bodies and so he came and he said, yeah, yeah, we were on earth, we were like this, we were treated as gods, but our bodies were almost human, and we tried this technique, the intentions were good, but we caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that I can hear them and they explain to me, and I don't know, their energies are flowing in.
Yeah.
uh, I feel that I'm getting to a different stage of my life.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it will be because I don't have a home here and I don't have a home in Israel. I'm totally uh, in the unknown space. I don't feel that I'm Portuguese either because they treat me as a foreigner, although I speak the language. I have an accent now. So they think I'm foreigner, just learned Portuguese. So and most of the people I'm in touch with here, most of them, all of them are from all over the world. I only have one Portuguese friend. All the rest are from all over.
Is he good looking? I'm just
Who?
messing.
It's a she.
I
It's
was
a
making a
she.
joke. I'm
It's
kidding.
a she.
I'm trying to lighten
So
up here.
it's like that place of in between, unknown, what I'm going to do next. I've no idea. Um,
That is the place, though. You
do
know,
you think so?
I think so. I think the place, because I'm not going to compare myself to you or any of you, those like you. All right. But I'm experienced a lot of the same things: the telepathy, the intuition, the visions, the dreams, and so on. But mine's primarily feeling, and the feeling is total spontaneity, the energy of spontaneity. So which is present, which is just instinct, right? And I think the way that extrapolates into being the old human being is what you're describing and what you're experiencing and what so many people are experiencing. How many women have I come into contact with in the last 12 months that have totally, and I'm talking about 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 years old, totally, and actually two beautiful German women that I know that took care of Morgan and I for a week, 70 years old, 10 years in this country, they were told on December 21st, pack your stuff, give all your stuff away to people that need it. Pack your stuff, get in the car, go to Sedona, and you will find a place. Now, they've been over there for about a month, and they haven't found anything, and they're staying in a room of a friend's house. And I want to help them. So anyone in Sedona that knows a place where they can get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $1,300 a month, please reach out to me in the Sedona area or around the Sedona area. But my point is, how many people have I met? And it's no different than Morgan going to Australia. We both knew there was something else going on there. The humans had a really difficult time, right? And a lot of people thought a lot of different things. But something said this has got to happen. And sure enough, I think the pattern and the occurrences that she's experienced energetically and physically, literally, are very similar to yours. But you know how many women she's run into over there that are doing the same thing? Like, they're just giving everything up and they don't know where they're going. They're just going to where they are told. And it's a very spontaneous, like what you were talking about. You don't know. And that's and the only thing that I can adequately compare to is when my wake up started, I knew that I had to go to the streets and be homeless. It made no sense at all. Made no sense. But in that 2-year period, I learned only the moment. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go learn how to do this. I was forced to. And I think that's what happens. Our higher selves force you to get to a point where you're going to go to the beach and just say, what are we going to do?
Twice.
Yeah.
It happened that I go to the waters and I ask for answers and I get them.
Yeah.
And I really get them,
And the water is the mother.
And I think this part of Portugal is attracting a lot of people now. Light workers, a lot. And I know that I mentioned years ago that there is an energy center in the inner earth here in Portugal. It's the only one in Europe. And it is very strongly connected to the feminine. And I am connected to it. And I feel their energies. I see the colors, everything connected to this center. And I've been working with it. It's part of the Rose Dome. By the way, you told me something a year and a half ago that I'll never forget, because this Rose Dome is like a container of unity that I can create and bring people into. Okay? You told me at the end of our conversation, you told me you are a walking dome. I didn't understand what you meant, but yesterday, during the equinox, I went through a process that I was told you're going to embody the dome now. It's like embodying the unity that I was bringing around me, but not inside me. So now I understand what you told me a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So now you're going to embody that.
And it's so funny that you're saying that because it's funny because maybe I could see it in you. You know what I mean? And so when we got this place 2 summers ago, I immediately saw this portal. And then I saw another portal, an interdimensional portal out here by this mother tree that has shown me inner earth. And it's just a powerful thing. So I had a neighbor. It was a beautiful young lady with 2 beautiful children. And this really helped me after when Morgan had to go to Australia. And wonderful, wonderful vibration. I would pray every night. I would include them and engulf the house in golden white light. And so they moved out when they sold this place. They got a new owner and they said, we're going to raise your rent. And she said, I can't afford it. And she moved out. So these other kids move in. And as soon as they moved in, I felt this energy, and I went, I've got to change, or something's got to change because I can already feel it. And it all came to a head last night. There's no coincidences. And so when I made the phone call today, I realized this is what I've been feeling. It's time to go. And so I have this portal back here, and I just happened to notice this morning that they had taken concrete blocks and put them in the middle of my portal, which is basically an altar of nature. And I said, there's the sign. And I basically heard, you're the portal. So it doesn't matter. It's time to leave now, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. You're the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Every place I go, the portal opens. It opens for you. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yes,
It was not there before. You come to a place
that's
and
right.
it opens for you.
That's right.
That's what happened when I was in nature also for 3 months. There were portals opening there everywhere. It was amazing. But it doesn't mean they were there before. They are created when you come, and you need to receive those energies. So you think you're going to move? You're also going to
I'm
move?
sitting here putting all my business out there. Well, there, there's what I'm saying is I don't know, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is again, everything happens, and you know how you feel something for a while, and then it happens or gets close, and you go okay, and you just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to have stability because Morgan, her paperwork is in immigration, and we're having to go through an attorney. So, you know, on yes and no, but no, we'll have a permanent address. I probably wouldn't move too far from here. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this, but I know that because I've been displaced so many times. When I went homeless, when I left Houston in 2016, I left just like you did with nothing, just a microphone and a laptop and a suitcase. And
Todd,
until
did you have a choice? Did you have a choice?
absolutely I did. But
You had a choice not to go homeless?
I had a choice not to go homeless. Absolutely I did. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my
I
God.
had a choice
You
the
never
whole,
talk,
huh?
you never talk about that it was really a choice and you could have done it otherwise.
I absolutely.
Okay.
My soul said I have to go do this. My human, I could have called family. I could have done a lot of things. But and when I left in 2016, this is what I was getting at. Uh, so 2016 until till the summer of 2020, and in the last year and a half of that, Morgan was with me, right? So it's one thing to be homeless by yourself. It's another thing when you got your girl with you, right? And but what I'm saying is that I know when I know that rhythm. So it's interesting to be faced with the possibility of having to leave something that I haven't been afraid of, but I've never been stable since probably 2000, 11 or 10 or 11. So it's interesting that this is all coming up. But no, to answer your question, I would, if I have to leave here, I'll definitely stay in the area because we need to have the stability. Our paperwork's already there; it's already been received, and the next step's coming up. She's going to be going to the embassy to get an interview in Australia. But again, one of the things that I learned from the beginning in 2011 was that I was told. I said, "What do I do?" And they said, "Whatever you do, don't do anything that's been done before." And then I developed this mantra of if it doesn't make sense, do it. In other words, if you're hearing something and it's telling you, "Go lay on the beach," I got you. Uh, then I knew I had to go do it. Just like I knew I had to leave on October 13th, 2016, not having a penny. And I came to this town. I never been here before. A friend of mine picked me up and brought me to this little bitty town in Arkansas. I was here for 60 days, and the next thing I know, I'm in New York City, which lasted about 10 days. And I went to New York City with $20 on a bus. And within a week, I got kicked out of the place I was in, and I'm at Grand Central Station with $2 in the middle of winter with 2 feet of snow. So, what I'm trying to say is that these situations, such as you talked about with the two situations going to the beach, that's not just the miracle message, it's actually the miracle frequency, right? That's why there's no ownership, there's no copyright,
Exactly.
no trademark,
Yeah,
no possession, there's no income taxes, there's no borders, there's no countries. We are free souls in a free universe anchoring that free frequency onto this earth. And people like
exactly.
you, it's people like you, primarily women like you, Morgan, Pamela, that have been in this lifestyle for 15, 20 years. That really is anchored by your relationship with infinite intelligence that's got you doing crazy things. It's no different than what I did. Where do you think I got it from? I got it from y'all.
Yeah, but what I've been doing lately is really having conversations with my soul.
Yes.
And my soul, I see it like this, Todd. It's so interesting because my soul came to tell me this. It was like the soul is part of this infinite soup, okay?
Yeah.
It's an infinite, you can say, the creator of all that is. And there's a lot of souls over there, floating in this infinite soup. Now, my soul, what I call the oversoul,
Yes.
is a creator, is a creator, and is here to create all these lifetimes all over the place in different planets on earth everywhere. What this soul, my soul, told me is I Merita, I am the creation of the creator, but in the end I am both, right? And humans until now saw it separate.
Right.
There's the creator soul and there's the creation that we are here. What my soul is telling me, there's no separation anymore. And this is something happening that is new to humans anyway.
Yeah.
Okay? So we are getting together, this creator that I am and the creation that I am as well, and we have conversations like friends. And I said, okay, guys, you want me to do this? I've been doing this by lack and suffering and leaving my family and going around without anyone who understands what I'm doing. Okay. Now it's different. We're going to do it in a different way. And this is the way I talk to the creator that I am,
Yeah.
in a oneness way. Okay, this is how I want to continue doing the work that I came to do, because it's going to be different now.
Yeah.
It's not based on lack, it's not based on separateness, it's based on the flow that is pleasant for the human, good for the body. I am here as a human and I want to feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the conversations that I'm having with the creator, with the oneness that I am. And it's about getting all these consciousness together. Like Franco explained, every part of us is a different consciousness.
Right.
It's very much part of the work that I've been doing with myself. Okay. Let's unite all this. I talk to my body, I talk to my biology,
Yes.
I do work with my oneness, okay, and it's of course, and I feel it. I feel the light coming in. I feel the integration, the embodying much more than before. But
Yeah.
it's all about the human together with the creator that we are. I don't call it God. I call it like you do. I am soul.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
You know, Yeah, it's that, but the soul is immense. It's the oversoul. I'm talking about the one who takes out ramifications, of all over the place, and those are our aspects.
Yes.
And then we also have the miscreations of the creator that we are, which are our shadows. Creations that didn't come out so well, and they need to be integrated back into the creator that we are. And it's fascinating the way I'm learning about all this. And it's not just in words, it is the feeling of it, the going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't only understand it, I feel it.
That's it. See, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I struggled. I've heard voices, and I've certainly had seen apparitions and a lot of things people have experienced, but the 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 one that contains it all is just a feeling. Like, even like talking about the things that we were talking about a minute ago that happened to me 10, 12 years ago. That was all feeling. You couldn't tell me, why would I walk out of my townhouse by my own choice? I walked about half a block. Now I'm homeless. I've got no money. I've lost everything: kids, family, jobs, cars. Nothing. I have nothing. No, I don't have anything. And I walk half a block, and I put my luggage down, and I looked up in the sky, and I said, I am the most blessed soul that has ever lived, including Jesus, who was my guide. So, and a couple other things based on what you were saying that are interesting. One is that, again, and Kimberly is going to come when she's ready, and she's just like you, just like all of you, Morgan, Pamela, etc., etc. She is a powerhouse, just like you, and she wants to come on when she's ready. And one of the things that happened when we went to Sedona for Soulogy Fest, they stayed with me for 2 days, and I said, Franco, let's have a talk. I want to talk to you about some things that we can't talk about on air. And I had already convinced him to talk about a lot of things on the air that he never had before, because he didn't think people were ready for it until he met this crowd. So I said to him, who are these voices that you hear? Because I know a lot about his experiences, and he's talked about some of these, so I'm not out of line. But it made me understand that the Galactics were facilitators. And I did understand that they were aspects of us, even like the ones that have appeared to me in Morgan. That's us. Those are aspects of us. But I said, you know, who are they? Because I ask, when they come in, I say, who are you? I mean, I'm equal to you. I don't care if you can take me out right now or whatever. So we had this conversation, and it was really bittersweet because we both got COVID on the same day. I went through my process for like 5 days. I came out of it. I reached out to Kimberly. She told me he wasn't doing so well. But before he went into the hospital, she went into him, the divine feminine, the goddess, the mother goddess energy, and she said, they've been overworking you. I'm just paraphrasing it. They've been overworking you. You don't have to follow their orders all the time. You
Yes.
tell them to get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Okay? And what he told her was this. He said, and this is right before he went in the hospital. He told her, I'm only going to talk to my soul from here out. Now, this is Franco.
Yes.
Okay? This is
Yes.
Franco. Now, we have a very good friend. She won't mind, Candace Coe. We talked privately. We did a show recently.
I
And
saw it.
she told me, now this was the one about 6 weeks ago. And something happened. Franco popped in with her, and then we disconnected. You know how that stuff happens. We talked for 20 minutes on the phone one day. She was watching her kids play soccer. And he came to her, and he said, push yourself. Go make it happen. I overloaded my body. My body couldn't take it anymore. And
Exactly.
he did. He took on a lot for people, And I like what you said too, because about him, because that he did something that we're all doing. He did it very quickly. I think one of the things he did was he took on a lot of people's stuff with him, right? Like a lot of shadow with him. And I think that's what we've learned to do. We're learning to do is transmute. We overuse that word, but we can't, like a Taurus, we keep it going. It's not like you release something and get rid of it and you never see it again. And I think that's what we're doing in the physical body, or at least having the opportunity and the potential to stay in our body and do this. I think this is the real kicker, where we might see people flying through the air in their physical body, or I'm appearing to have lunch with you in Portugal by dematerializing and rematerializing. I believe these things. I believe that I can live 800 years. I believe we can bring this stuff back. People talk about, oh, it's going to take 50 years. It's going to take 100 years. We're going to go through all these hard times. Bullshit. That's just here. This is a thought experiment. That's what this is. It's a thought experiment. It's a thought experience. And all we have to do is keep going. And you guys are leading the way. And it's so important for those like you, and nothing against the men, but this is the feminine in all of us, but it is primarily being, by the vast majority, being directed and guided and led by the physically incarnated woman. And most of them fall in the age group of, let's say, 40 to 70 or 40 to 80. And it's time for them to come out. And you can do it right here on Soulogy.
I want to tell you, because it has to do with it, the way that I worked in Israel, and I also did some work here, is that when they want me to plant, to anchor, I worked with the golden rose frequency. When I'm asked to do that, I just see a tunnel opening in front of me, but it's very real, a tunnel of light, and I see it just swirling, and I go through it, and I'm at the place where I need to be. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see myself there in physical form, but I know I'm there because I'm supposed to plant something there and open something there, and I feel it. It's like going through this tunnel of light, and zoop, next time we'll be able to also materialize on the other side,
Yeah.
right? I'm already doing this here.
I mean,
By the way,
what's that?
while I was here, while I was here,
Yeah.
I was also able to be more clear about what work I did in Israel, how it was connected to here, to Portugal, to that energy center, and how it connected to Egypt as well.
Yeah.
And it was a triangle. It was like a triangle. It came to me here in Portugal when I was in nature, which was more clarity coming, and I was part of this group to get these energies together, this triangle going on. It was like, again, I was in tunnels of light, bringing the light, zoom here, zoom there. But
Yeah.
in the end, I just said, okay, enough, guys. I want to ground in my human body. This is where I need to be now. Otherwise, I won't be able to create my life here.
Yeah.
And it's happening. I
That's
feel
right.
it's happening now.
That's right.
And it's all in here, all in our bodies. And I can feel Franco nodding and hugging and saying, yes, yes, yes. By the way, I think Franco did, it was not the taking our shadows away, it was him embodying his light too quickly.
Yeah.
You know, that is my feeling. He had so much light, and when he decided to be in a human body fully, that light came in very quickly, and the biology could not take
That
it.
makes sense. For all
Yeah,
of us, I think that makes sense why we
yeah,
have the physical, issues that we have.
yeah. It has to be. slowly, but anyway, it's going very quick now.
It's speeding up now.
Our Yeah,
I
it's
just went through a
speeding
whole
up
box
now
of Kleenex.
because he just took so much light suddenly by deciding to be in his human body. That's what caused all the sudden
Yeah,
imbalance.
yeah,
But he's doing great work there, and he's really happy. And he turns up whenever I ask him to. Whenever I don't understand something, I said, "Come on, Franco, what's going on here?" It's like, and I feel him. I really feel him, and it's good to have such a soul with us. That we saw him. He taught so much, and just amazing. I had things to do with him because I wanted to be part of this group that he had with people. He had a special group of people who were creating stuff. So I asked to be there, and but I didn't know if I would fit in. So he said, "Okay, come in. It's a Zoom meeting with a lot of people.
yeah,
Come in and see how you feel." And so I did go in once,
yeah.
and I didn't feel like I was going to be part of it.
Right.
But but I was there, and he was there with Kimberly too.
She's still doing it.
And then she's still doing it.
She,
And one of the
yeah.
participants got in touch with me, so we were in touch for a while. And this woman had been with Franco for a long time.
Hmm.
And she was the one to tell me about his ailments, how he felt
Yeah.
in his body for so long. She told me about it because I didn't know. But it's good to have someone like Frank who look after Soulogy and look after us. He's very dedicated.
I know he is. And
Yeah.
one of the things that him and I had in common was uh, you just you never feel like you're doing enough. You can't do enough. Now it's kind of gotten complicated since the last year and a half because of the whole isolation and solitude and but I still wake up and go, it's not enough, but with what you talked about earlier, with the telepathy, the intuition, the ability to see the field better, you can actually see more and more every day what you think is up is down. What you think is big is little, and what you think is little is big. So that's why I say all of these people, which are the vast majority are women, that have been on this path for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Patricia Cota Robles, the 60s. We've had people on here that go back to the 60s. Pamela, 1987. All of this grid work that they were doing long before the internet, long before these communities, that energy is what has created the foundation of this new earth grid. That's the mother. Those are the mother's own, right? And now it's time, and it's time for them to be recognized. And this is a natural, organic process that I see happening. And it's like nothing. It's like there's nothing in this world that we can think of that can contend with this power, because it is literally the power of the womb. That is the great void. That is creation itself. And like you were talking about the aspects of you that have come back, you're the DJ. You're the remix. You're taking all of them in,
Oh,
all the
yes. Oh, yes.
multidimensionality and all the human multifaceted dimensionality, the shadows, everything that we left out there all comes back. You guys are showing the way. And I think that the universe is supporting what we might call as humans magic. And I just know this. I just know that they will be seen for what they are. and that will allow everyone else to see themselves for what they are.
Together with that, um, I feel that women like me came to open a way for others, okay? We just way showers in a way that we did our work quietly.
Yeah.
We opened up something for others. And I've been getting for a long time, be the leader, be the leader. And I resist that. I say, what are you talking about? I'm not going out there to be a ha ha leader. It's not me, not that I know of. But I know that our work was done to open up for this new generation.
Yes.
For example, I've been dealing with the rose energy for a long time. I came up with rose initiations 8 years ago, and everything to do with the rose was like opening for what's happening now. There's a boom of rose young people talking about workshops and be connected to the rose grid. And I look at that and I said, oh my God, it's like I've been doing this for a long time quietly and sometimes less quiet, but here it is. Here it is all blooming. Everybody's talking about the rose energy now. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't have to be a leader. I already open together with other women like me the way for this generation. And that's how I feel until now. God knows what's going to happen next. But I know and I feel, Todd, that I'm here, especially in this spot where there's so many young people doing their thing, trying to get to the new earth with simple life and growing their own food, but they need the new energy. And this is what I'm getting, that probably I'll be doing something with these people here. I don't know yet, but it feels like the big picture I'm seeing is okay, now you're going to get the new energy with these people. And I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm going to do, but I'm resisting. There's a kind of resistance. It's like one part of me is saying, oh, leave me alone, I've done enough. The other part is saying, I'm bored. I need to be excited about something.
Well,
It's like,
I mean, if you really think about it, you said this at the beginning. These what the new people are bringing in the old, the old people brought in the new, or something new to what was here. But you've already been leaders. That's my point. It, you know, in an energetic level in the etheric field, all this work that's been done for these number of years, long before the internet, and again, there are countless examples. That is the leadership. That is now we want to translate that into the human linear experience, the evidence that the world tells us proves it. And I do think that's going to converge, and they will be seen for what they are. And but I've talked to so many, and they're all getting that push, and
really?
it's the soul, it's the oversoul, it's and the reluctance is out of humility. It's out of not wanting the attention, not needing the attention. Um, and that's a natural thing, because I think one thing that we might forget from time to time, because in these communities, we've gone through a lot of highs and lows together. There's been a lot of projection from time to time, And as we see shadow in other people, yet we have yet to see in ourselves, but we've all come a long way, and y'all have led the way. I think we forget, and this is what I was getting at, I think we forget that these leaders, these quiet leaders such as yourself, they're human beings that have had the same challenge In fact, the greater challenge to be given all this sacred wisdom and then try to function as a normal human being and not let your ego get in the way or not become, these things that you get removed from because you're attaching to all these things up here. But that's a natural process. It's organic. So like in your words at the beginning of the show, when you said you went to Portugal, or what's happened over the last year and a half or so, one of the things you said, to me the most impressive thing is to be honest about your experience and to own it, and it's a part of you. Almost like what's done is done. I've done the best I can. I go on every day. You stay in the present and spontaneous frequency field, and someone had to do it. And the only way out was the mother energy. It makes sense to me now, that's what beats all the BS that's out there, because look, it's crumbling, and there's nothing you can point at that shows it's the direct reason that all of these things are crumbling. Everyone sees that the governments, that COVID, that even the war, it's all just a bunch of, it's like a cartoon. What's causing that is you and those like you. And this has been going on a long time, as you know, and as you've lived too.
When I was still in Israel, Moses used to come to me a lot. And a few times he would give me his staff. He says, "You lead to freedom." And I would argue with him and say, "Forget it. You're bringing your issues onto me. Who am I to lead anything to freedom?" And here we are, getting so close to that place of freedom. And I didn't realize that I was doing anything in that way. But there's a lot of resistance from the human self.
Yeah.
The creator that we are didn't take too much into account the human self, because before we came, we were told, okay, this is the mission, this is where you're going and what you have to do it the best you can. You're going to face a lot of obstacles, but you're going to do it. And I felt a lot of times that the human was tired of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone. I'm tired. I'm alone. My family thinks I'm crazy. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, it's enough. It's enough. A lot of times I would be aware that I had a mission. I had to complete something. Like I was here in Portugal 3 years ago, also for a short visit for 2 weeks, and I thought something was going to happen then. And I was told, no, 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 you have to go back for another year because you have to finish something. And I did go back, and exactly a year later, I came here. That was 2 years ago, and then I could stay. But I had to go and finish something. And this has to do with the creator that we are and some kind of mission
Mm-hmm.
and that we took and we wanted to finish it. But the human was not happy.
Right.
Right? The human, like, okay, look at the human side of all this. Pay attention. And now it's happening. Now it's
Yes.
happening.
Yes. And
Our creator self is is paying attention to our human
yes.
side
Yeah.
because I also demand it. Okay, it's not only following what spirit
That's
says.
right.
It's not only following what our aspects want. It's about saying, I am human, I am
Yes.
here, this is what I want.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a very important part of my
That's it.
path.
That's the whole
Yeah,
thing. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I think Pamela just took the words out of my mouth. She said, "Every one of us will realize what we accomplish. We will be amazed." Well, these these leaders, these that we've been talking about this whole hour and a half, they will be seen, they are being seen for what they are. And we just crossed over some major threshold. Maybe it was the 22nd of February, and then we had the equinox. But they will not be seen for what they are until they see themselves for what they are, which they've begun
Yes.
to accept. You see,
Yes.
and that energy, the energy of I've had enough, like what you were talking about with Morgan's post, that's the mother energy saying, okay, I've had enough. Well, that's coming from the human being, and that human being's energy is the composite, is comprised of all of these things. So it is the oversoul in form. That's what it can, and we can take this as far as we want to. And so I think we've really broken through with those like you leading the way. Primarily, I think the great example is what you talked about in that post at the beginning of the show. Because, look, think about it. Any household in the world, at any traditional household where you have a matriarchal figure, be it a grandmother or a mother, right? What is she doing? She's doing exactly what you said that Morgan wrote about in that post. Every woman in the world that's a mother can identify with it. But what happens in that little household? You know, she's taking care of. What happens when she puts her foot down? What happens when she said, that's not going to happen? Even the man will fall in line, the head of the household. So think about that energetically, that they all came, or many of them came like yourself, to the point when they said, look, I've had enough. I will be a human being, and I will enjoy the fruits of my labor as a human being. I'm not going to wait on heaven or nirvana. Think about that impact. See, to me, that's the energy that's tearing down all of the finite structures, the patriarchal structures of the realm that we've had, for these last few thousand years. This is amazing. These shows get more and more amazing. I feel like I'm at the center of the universe. It's amazing how the sequence, the way they happen. It's weird. It's crazy. It's crazy weird.
And it was amazing that I said to myself, I'll only go back to Soulogy when I am ready to talk, when this period is over. And it's going to be fun, I think. Whatever will come,
Well,
you calling me to talk to you again, this is going to be the beginning of something.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I didn't, when I saw your name on the calendar, I was like, wow, wow. Like, but and this is just another example. It's not about Soulogy, it's not about Todd and Morgan, but just to give an example, because these things are happening all over the world. So little things, they look like little things, but the scheduling for the show, right? Like, we've done 3,300 episodes. Nothing really got started till she came in 2018. She said, if you're going to do this, we're going to do this. That was a mother's decision. That's a mother energy decision. And then as time's gone on, just like I was talking about with the big names, that we said, you know what? That's not our gig. This is our gig. This is what we need to put out there. And more and more and more, it's happened. But my point is, she's taken it over. But it's not the fact that she's taken over the scheduling, that she's owned that since that happened way back 3,000 episodes ago. It's the way it happens. So she picks, 20 people. She sends all these different dates. They send dates back. She puts it on. And then if you look at the calendar, everything makes sense. Like they all make sense. Like today, they'll all make sense. They'll all be connected. They were all supposed to happen on the same day, and it's weird. But it is the intuitive, etherical, invisible, whatever you want to call it, I guess it is. It's the intuitive that is the primary characteristic. And I was saying this yesterday with somebody, that these things, these magical things, are starting to take form and have a physicality. And that's going to be mind blowing, because that's what the human, the human standalone aspect wants to see. They want to see evidence. Well, we're starting to see
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yes. Yes, my life has been evidence of magic. You know, I live with a very small pension from Israel, and I don't know how I manage. I have a full fridge, a beautiful house with everything in it that I don't pay anything for, a car outside. How do I manage that? You know, it's all magic. Magic. And we create that with our frequency. It's nothing else. You know, it's nothing else. It just comes to you
Yeah,
every single moment.
yeah.
And the human, the mind has a hard time to, to understand it and believe in it. And there's still doubts, and sometimes there's fears. What am I going to do next? How can I do what I came to do? Uh, but it's about trust.
Hmm.
Trust. Keep going. Everything is okay. See what happened, and they start showing me, showing me the things that happened, what I did, who I met, how I'm here now. I'm shown. My guidance, my soul shows me all that, especially before I come to talk to you. They come very strongly, and tell me, you did this and this and this and this. I said, okay, okay.
Well,
And
so
I don't post these things, but they're there.
how am I going to make it the rest of the day? I was already out of my body when I sat in this chair. I feel a lot better, but anyway, we got another show in 30 minutes with Alexander, and I used to be on McManus, and I just want to say a couple things real quick before I say something to you. One is, it looks like we're having a Soulogy Fest. We are having a Soulogy Fest, September 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Arkansas. It's very inexpensive.
Is Morgan going to be there?
That certainly would be our desire, but we are approaching everything just as you've explained for the last 90 minutes how you approach it. So we know it's all good. And but I feel like the magic is in our favor, but we don't attach to anything. We're together, whether we're physically together or not. And I can give a lot of really cool sacred sexual details about how that can be proven. But I'll leave that for another day, because it's already happening. The teleportation stuff for many people is already happening, and there's physical proof of it. But I wanted to say that, and I just wanted to say, while we have this, there is no way that we could do this without the love and support and contributions of this community. And it's not always been easy, but we were downloaded, and I would say she downloaded in 2018, before we really kicked this off, when she came in and said, do you want to do this? Let's do this. And we were doing 80 to 100 shows a month for 8 or 9, 10 months. And when Soulogy came in as an energy, it said, as we laid there, this is a platform for the voices of the Mother Goddess. And it wasn't, you know how you were saying, like you get further down the road and then you see how it all made sense and how everything was right. So that's come to fruition, and it happened at the Soulogy Fest last year, and it happened when Pamela Johnson, it culminated. You could see the energy, and I can remember called Morgan on the phone. I said, you should see this. You should see what's happening. But Pamela went up to the microphone, and she came up. She said, I'd like to say something. Yes, come on. So she started talking. I went outside the tent, And I'm telling you, that was the peak. And 6 Black Hawk helicopters, military helicopters, in the middle of the desert, came around the mountain, flew right over the tent in that moment. So I knew that we had achieved something like that. That directive, from the Oversoul or whatever about the voices, this being the platform for the voices of the Mother Goddess, I knew had hit a certain point, regardless of whatever the humans would have to go through. But I really feel like this is going to be a tremendous year, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. But I want to just say on a personal level, I really appreciate your openness and your willingness to be so honest about everything, and I just want to say thank you to you, and I love you very much, and I hope I see you again in 2022. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again as soon as as I know what I'm going to do next. I'll call you.
That sounds good to me. You take care. I love you. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
Bye.